All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. And today we're going to look at how a scenario is constructed so keepers can understand what information needs to be given to players, what information doesn't, and investigators understand the idea of what they're going to get and the manner in which they will receive information so they can complete the scenario and save the world.
We welcome all people, regardless of background, belief, or identity, to play tabletop role-playing games. Let's engage our imaginations, pull a veil over reality, and immerse ourselves in fantastic worlds. Don't be a disruption at the table, and always remember, it's just a game. The charity we support is the Wounded Warrior Project, a national, nonpartisan organization whose mission is to honor and empower wounded warriors. Please refer to the description below for the link to where you can make your hopefully tax-deductible donation. Join us Thursday and Saturday evenings on twitch.tv/Legion of Myth to watch Heathen Dog and his team of dirty casuals play multiplayer games for your mockery and enjoyment. Here on our YouTube channel, you can watch these game-related segments live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time, or check out the Friday night stream where our panel of guests opine, comment, and editorialize on the TTRPG hobby as a whole. Please leave us a comment with your thoughts and experiences. If you enjoy our gaming content, please be sure to subscribe to Legion of Myth.
All right.
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go over this scenario. This is a scenario in the back of the book. This is the sample adventure that good source book, good main books give you as your first adventure into the game. We're just going to look at the structure. All right, so this should be pretty fast.
Is the structure pretty similar across pretty much any adventure you do with this? Not that you have to, but that it's a good formula?
I have no idea. I've never read it before.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. Okay, so it looks like an introduction starts off amidst the ancient trees, takes place in the summer of 19... Okay, this is all for the keeper. Introduction is for the keeper. Background also probably for the keeper. Millennia ago, yeah, also for the keeper. The introduction and background looks like it is mainly for the keeper to start wrapping his or her head around what precipitated the events that are going on now for the investigators. Talks about the people that are involved, the time frame, 1865. Joseph Turner and his gang of friends were conscripted in the Union Army. Turner and his gang fled to what would later become the Green Mountain National Forest. And in here, well, we had some problems. And there's where the problem started. And then it goes to recent events. Now, that's why the things that are happening now are happening. These are the things that, guess what, are happening now. So these are the things the investigators can readily find out. Summer 1925, obviously this is a 1920s thing. Diggers and surveyors working on the foundations for a new Somerset reservoir found traces of an odd mineral deposit, the remains of a meteor that fell to Earth millennia ago, comprised of an unknown mineral. Ooh, dog. So it gives the entire recent events stuff that the investigators can go to town, question people, and find things out quite easily enough. These are things that people have experienced or have documentation for that are recent and true as to their knowledge, and the investigators can learn this. Now, a tip for all keepers out there: if you're not running a scenario, a written scenario, then you probably won't have any handouts. Handouts are awesome for Call of Cthulhu. Pages of manuscripts, cutouts from newspapers, telegrams.
A book that you actually made from the skin of babies?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing that in real life, but you can say it's made from the skin of babies.
Authenticity is important, man.
Authenticity is important, yes. Handouts are important for the feel of the game. And it really, really helps the players, I've seen. So then we have dramatis personae. These are the people that the investigators will likely run into and their basic motivations or drives. timeline of events. This is important for the keeper to know because a lot of Call of Cthulhu is run just like Max runs his adventures. There is a timeline. Things happen at certain times, whether the investigators are ready or not. If you don't investigate properly, or you fail a bunch of rolls, or you just go the wrong way, this happens on day 0. This happens on day 1. This happens on day 2. This happens on day 3. So you as the keeper have an outline of everything that's going to happen and when it happens. And if you have a bought scenario, then this has already been vetted to make sure that the players can have the right information by the time these milestones happen. But you as a keeper, if you're making your own scenario, then you have to think about it. You have to make sure that the players can actually do something about these, or are ready for them, or can be ready for them. Don't screw that up. I've done that before. I've said by accident, "Oh, I'll give the players 30 minutes to do this." Only 5 minutes later, someone says, "Hey, wait a minute, this thing's 40 minutes away." Oh, whoops. So don't make those mistakes. Think ahead enough. Making adventures on the fly is a little more difficult for Call of Cthulhu because timeline is probably pretty important. So bear in mind, day 3, day 4, it goes to what? It goes to day 3. Investigator motivations. When running amidst the ancient trees as a standalone adventure, it is recommended the investigators have motivations to join the posse formed to track down Harris. Okay, so this is the hook. This is just the adventure hook. You have to hook at least one, hopefully 2 or more investigators into the adventure, into the scenario. Make them want to investigate. However you do that is up to you. It's up to you as keeper. You know what the investigators do. You know what the investigators are like. You've read the adventure. You know what it's for. How are you going to get them to give a crap? That's what an adventure hook is. Making the players give a crap. And we have some motivation suggestions. That's great. In a built adventure, getting that is awesome. Then it goes events happening starting day 1. Read this aloud. And we have the normal read aloud text. This is the just for you text, just for the keeper text. And the rest of it is background information you're going to need to know to adjudicate properly. Scenario 10 begins at 10 a.m. with the investigators attending the scenario begins at briefing in the police station. Sheriff Jenkins explained the background to what's happened. Sydney Harris, these are the points that you want to make through conversation from the sheriff talking to the posse or the search party or whatever.
By the way, that is an art form.
Yes, this is the information that the sheriff has. Is he going to give it all freely through his monologuing speech? Maybe. Or you can make it harder. He may give 2 or 3 items here, the most important ones to go to day 2, but the investigators can ask questions and maybe get more.
Don't just read off the bullet points. Okay,
No.
he tells you that Sidney Harris and his gang have
Yeah, see, you don't want that. It takes them out of the moment. It takes them out of immersion. So give the 2, 3, or 4 most important salient details they require, but do it through the sheriff conversing with the group. And if the investigators ask questions, then you can give all the information if they ask the right questions or near enough to the right questions. All right. If they get close to asking the right question, you can say, "Oh, that reminds me." And then the sheriff can give the information they almost correctly asked for. You can do that. That's fine. That's 100% fine. Because it gives the investigators wins. You want to give them wins, keepers, especially the little ones. It's the little wins that really bring players back even when the bad stuff happens. That's how human interaction works. You give the little things. Think of them for the little things every once in a while, and it keeps your man or woman happy for the most part.
It's
Same thing for
psychology.
there you go. And what do we have next? This is just for the keeper. Day 1, meeting the hunting party. This is now you're going after these people who've kidnapped whomever. These are NPCs that are hopefully on your side. This is your posse. Now, are you in charge of them? Is one of them in charge of you? It depends on the hierarchy, pecking order of this particular town. I don't know. If you, as an investigator, are a military officer or a federal agent, guess what? You would be in charge of this posse. So you would be giving orders to the NPCs. If the NPC is a sheriff and you're not a police of any kind, then the NPC deputy sheriff, whatever, is going to be in charge of you. This is the introduction to those NPCs. Then we have the first night, moving through the forest, and then when they find a body. This is what happens when inevitably the posse is going to find this dead body. Now, is it going to be you? Is it going to be an NPC? Don't know. But if it's an NPC, they will call the investigators over to see. So you are going to get this information. Pushing skill rolls in the forest. There's a special thing about the forest. Apparently, it's all magical and stuff. There's a truck involved. Posse stumbles across a trail of tire tracks that have cut through the forest floor. It's a clue. Okay, so it looks like so far we have a timeline of information, not just events, but of information. Finding the body, finding tire tracks. These are clues, breadcrumbs for the investigators to follow to get to the end of the scenario. Then we have day 2, the first kidnapper. Those succeeding call for a hard spot hidden roll. Those succeeding catch a glint of light off of Eugene Clayton's rifle scope from his vantage point on a ridge up ahead. So if you don't make that hard roll, you could be in for a little surprise. A bullet to the head, maybe. I don't know. Day 2, this is the second night. What happens on second night? Day 3, moving through the forest again. Day 3, the artist's camp. You found a body of the artist and it led you to this camp. Now, what information do you get from this place? Depending on how well you look, you get this level of information. How well you roll in spot hidden, how well you roll in some kind of investigation skill, or sometimes you even can get them in a dream. That's entirely possible too. Remember, this is Cthulhu. Getting
Never
information through
trust
dreams,
Cthulhu dreams.
yeah, is not a strange thing. Well, it's a strange thing, but it's not strange for Lovecraft. We even have a map here. We find Turner's cabin, find the hideout. So right now, this adventure seems to be set up as a trail of breadcrumbs. Now, the cool thing about this is you can find the body and you can find the artist's body and fail all your rolls, get no information from it. Then you find tire tracks. Oh crap, you failed to follow the tire tracks. Crap. All right. Well, then day 3 comes around, and remember, you are searching the forest in a methodical pattern. You are eventually going to find everything. But is it going to be in time? These clues are laid out so you can get ahead of the storyline, get ahead of the timeline. So you as investigators can get in front of what's going to happen and possibly help make it not happen, which is the end result. I think day 3 is our last day, is the dig site. There's people at the dig site. This does not look inviting. This doesn't look good. I don't like that. So
Are they still alive, or are they just dead with screams on their face?
They're dead with screams on their faces.
That's not good.
It is not good at all.
Muscles are supposed to relax after you die.
Yeah, well, apparently, if you die horribly, you don't even get peace in death. That's another nightmare. Then it's possible that the characters are trapped, capturing the investigators. And this is how the investigators can escape. We're looking at dex rolls, stealth rolls, all kinds of ways the characters can escape. Now, here's the thing. You as the keeper should have read this word for word, cover to cover. So you should know exactly what's going on. So when the investigators inevitably think out of the box, you can give them alternate skills or stat rolls to escape, fight back, whatever. Remember, it's very flexible. You as the keeper have a lot of power to gauge what skill rolls are required, what skill rolls are needed, how hard the rolls have to be, or can it just be a stat? It's up to you. A more cautious approach. Wise investigators may watch the site for a while and get a better idea of what's going on. Some investigators will find those bodies that are on stakes and go, "Oh my God, we must rush in and get them down and figure out what's going on." But more cautious investigators go, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. I see the dead bodies. I don't see who hung them up there. Let's get the binoculars out and check this mother out," right? So this is, if they have the more cautious approach, this is what they can find by investigating from afar. And now it talks about some of the non-player characters and conclusions stuff. Like, now we've reached the end, right? No, I didn't go into what this scenario was, but I just want to know how it was structured. So in the beginning, we have the background for the keeper. Then we have recent information. This is stuff the NPCs currently may know and the investigators may find out easily enough. And then we have the timeline. No, I'm sorry. No, then we have the hook, the hook into the adventure. How are the investigators going to give a crap about doing this thing, searching for this body or for the murderers or whatever? And after the hook starts the timeline. Things that happen at a certain amount of time that the players may or may not get ahead of. But at the end of the timeline, we all end up at the same place. The end of the adventure, hopefully, unless the investigators have screwed up so many times, they're going to make it to the end. Now, are they going to be ready? Maybe, maybe not. That's up to them. But they got there. Are they going to be able to beat the big bad? Are they going to be able to save the girl? Are they going to be able to bring the perpetrators to justice or stop the summoning of whatever monstrous horror that the cultists want to bring out? Again,
they're going to get hung up on hooks.
Or are they going to get hung up on more hooks? We don't know. And then we have the conclusion. We have what happens if they win and what happens if the investigators lose. And then it's over. This non-player character stuff, again, is for the keeper, so you can properly flesh out the role play of NPCs. NPCs have their own motivations. This gives a minor bit of their motivations so that the keeper can role play them effectively. And then we have the stats of all the NPCs and, of course, the stats of any monsters or whatever that you are going to find, like this beautiful little tentacle monster right here, the great old one. You probably don't want that. It gives the page for his stats. And that's it. And this is another one. Oh, those
are handouts.
Yeah, these are handouts. These are your handouts. This is for you. This is for them. And then we have another one, Crimson Letters. This is another scenario. We're not going to go into that. So we know all of that. We know we have keeper background information, keeper recent information, the hook, the timeline, the possible interactions that the investigators could have at the end, and the conclusion, whether they conclusions on what they win, conclusions what they lose. And we have all the NPC background information, so the game master the keeper can run it properly, and then all their stats. Now remember, in here, it didn't specifically give handouts, but if you're in a search party, right, you are going to have this map. You're going to have that map, especially if you are the smart investigators that come across this nonsense and decide, let's hang back. Let's scout around a little bit, right? Then you're going to get this map right here. And maybe if you don't, all you're going to get is this picture. Again, you can cut and paste this, print it out, or give it as a PDF, throw it up on the screen if you're playing remotely. It keeps the investigators, it keeps the players immersed in their investigators' problems. That's what the handouts are for. If a handout possibly complicates the situation, do not give it. Don't. You don't need to throw roadblocks, artificial roadblocks in front of your players. You don't need to do that. Don't. You are not against the player. They're against the game. Not you. You're a neutral party. You're an arbiter. Remember that.
You missed my Friday live stream. That's changed now.
Oh, it's changed now? I don't believe that. All right. But that right there is a Call of Cthulhu scenario, and how this example, how it was structured. So you as a keeper, when you're running it, and you as an investigator, when you're playing it, know what to expect and understand what you need to know and when you need to know it. So do we have any questions?
Literally none.
Literally none. Outstanding. Everyone understood. That's how I love it. That is the end of our Call of Cthulhu adventure, except if we have time today, I may show you my favorite Call of Cthulhu character generation software and how easy it is to make a character even in 7th edition. So look forward for that.
No, we're extending this segment because you have one thing left. No. You have one thing left to do.
Oh, what's that?
Give us your thoughts on 7E versus what you normally do, which is 5E.
Okay, very cool. Okay. All right. Couple things I like. The skill rolls at normal, hard, and extreme. I love that. Because you don't need to think about specific modifiers for rain or snow or darkness or whatever. Oh, it's minus this percentage for that. Oh, I'm going to give an arbitrary. No, there's no arbitrary nothing. If you're driving and you're stunt driving and it's raining, it's a hard difficulty. If you're stunt driving and it's snowing, it's a hard difficulty. If you're stunt driving and it's icy, it's an extreme difficulty. No other thinking is required by keeper or investigator. Divide by half, divide by 5, which is already done on your character sheet. There's no math involved. You just get to roll. I love it. It speeds up gameplay. It makes all the difficulties easy to digest and understand for everyone involved. I'm a big fan. Bonus and penalty die. I'm a big detractor of these things. Number one, you don't need it at all. It's unnecessary in the extreme. If you have an extreme difficulty skill roll, you're already at 1/5 of your skill roll. That means you're under 20% chance to win. Why do I also need to take the lowest of 2 dice in my tens place? That's stupid. Plus, the swing is huge. It is a huge swing between 1 and 9. It is between 0 and 9. It's crazy. It's absolute bonkers. I never use it. I would never, ever use it. But the thing is, it's not optional. It is not an optional rule, which means I have to house rule it. I have to house rule it away. And I would. The other main difference from 5th edition to 7th edition is the usable luck. Luck is now, just like sanity and magic and hit points, an attribute that goes up and down depending on circumstance. You can spend luck to add percentage points to your rolls. I don't like that. Why don't I like it? Because I don't like the idea of a character spending luck. You either lucky or you're not. That's it. I don't like it. But luckily, it is an optional rule.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah. It is an optional rule. So if I don't use it, I'm still doing rules as written in that area because it's optional. But other than that, it was very, very similar to 5th edition. Those were the big standouts. And you know what? I like it, except for the penalty and bonus dice, which I'm not going to use. I would switch to 7th edition. Easy. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to. I'm going to switch to 7th edition now. You got me. Another reason why is because going from 5th edition and changing it to 7th edition is ridiculously easy. Ridiculously easy. All you have to do is divide your skills by half and divide them by 5. Write that down, and there you go. Attributes, divide by half, divide by 5. Write that down, and you're basically good to go from 5th to 7th at that point. It's great because I won't be using the usable luck, so the luck stat basically doesn't change, so it doesn't affect anything. So there you go. Bob's your uncle. I love it.
There you go. I should have a Heathen Dog seal of approval. Here we go. Where is it? There. Heathen Dog seal of approval right there.
There it is. Bam. There it is. The more you know.
do.
Well, it was a more you know, and the GI Joe thing. The more you know was the Saturday morning special thing.
And now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of those two. Yeah.
All right, one more time. Please like, subscribe, and share. And join Heathen Dog in the new wave of 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. Or whatever.